Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. What up, what up, what up? What it do, shawty? Welcome to Rich Forever, Life Your Way. This is a quick overview of what I do and what you can do to start transitioning closer to your true self, tap into your divinity, your creative feminine flow, and really thrive in a life with less stress, more ease, more adventure, more love, more compassion, and really just break free from the masculine energy that rules our society today. So, I am Ashlyn Ray. I am a mindset and spiritual lifestylist for professional millennial women, basically forever aunties and brunch bays. So let me just real quick, what's a forever auntie? A forever auntie, we was born aunties. We are the favorite auntie. We may or may not have children, but we are the favorite auntie. We the rich auntie, the one that everybody looks up and aspires to be, or just, really loves to be in our presence because we cool like that. And brunch bays, hello, because after a long night of drinking, we need to go catch up with our homegirls, okay? With the mimosas and the French. Well, I drink French 47s, but whatever you choose. So I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I am an NLP practitioner, which is NLP is neuro linguistic programming, which is a series of techniques and strategies used to rewire the neurological networks in your brain. I am Rebel Millionaire Certified Coach, which is a mindset certification, the ringleader of the Brown Girls Billionaire Gang, the creator of the French 47 Collective. I'm a brunch bae, I'm a forever auntie, and I'm definitely a cognac connoisseur. A taco truck addict. I like to follow taco trucks around who got the best tacos. And realistically, I'm Rick Ross's real baby mama, but he just don't know it yet. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Now look, you are definitely supposed to be here, girl. If you are constantly doing the blur, right? As you see in the picture, everybody's rushing around the city. They're trying to get to Starbucks or wherever they're trying to get to because they got somewhere to be, baby. The hustle and bustle was all good for a little while. And then we're going to have to drop them capes, okay? So if you have constant anxiety, despite being successful on the outside, you're super, you're achieving, you are climbing that corporate ladder, you are a mentor to many, a leader to many, a friend to many, the person that people call for advice, the person that people call for inspiration. If you put your mind to it, you say you're going to do it and you muscle that shit. This is for you, because a whole bunch of us who look perfect on the outside are train wrecks on the inside, okay? I'm channeling Annalise. I'm channeling Mary Jane Paul. I'm channeling Olivia Pope. Hello, okay? Are you with me? Constant anxiety, commitment issues, and commitment frustration, terrible relationships, just toxic friendships, one-sided friendships, toxic intimate relationships. You're the savior of the family, right? Sometimes we even feel inadequate despite all of our many accolades, successes, achievements, and notable recognition for many people. We still feel like we aren't good enough or we aren't doing enough, right? We can't be in the moment because we're worried about what we got to do next, what we didn't already do, what we said the wrong way, what we shouldn't have said, what we should have said, right? And then also just dimming your own light, right? You're feeling a little bit guilty for your success in comparison to the people that you're around. It's almost like, if you go up, you're supposed to bring people up with you, which you are, but sometimes you give them an opportunity and they don't take it, and that's not your fault. But we find ourselves dimming our light and, hiding some of our successes and not being so celebratory because we're around people who we don't want to make feel bad, right? And then, we just feel like our work is never done. We work really hard for a goal, and then we make the goal and it's like anticlimactic because we work so hard that we miss the whole damn journey, and it's like, okay, we did all this for what? Now, we all know about the law of attraction. Everybody knows about the law of attraction. Abundance, 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 right? But there are actually 12 universal laws. And today I want to touch on one of them, the law of polarity. So the law of polarity says that everything has a polar opposite, just like masculine and feminine energy. Now, let's be clear. One cannot exist without the other. They're inherently connected, meaning that one needs the other, right? And they are of the same essence, but in different expression. So masculine energy is not bad, and it's also not gender specific, okay? It's just a way that energy is expressed. So I would like to first be clear with that. We need both, and we all possess both. It's not gender specific. Men possess feminine energy, women possess masculine energy. And as we go further, you'll see that you actually are probably operating out of it as a means to success, okay? So the balance of energy, right? When we think about masculine energy, we associate it with logic, being assertive, being strong, analytical, solution oriented. You know how you go to vent to a man and he immediately wants to solve the problem instead of just like letting you vent. And they're usually, if you're operating from a masculine energy, individualistic. Now, I'm not saying that because again, we all possess these different energies, and I'm very solution oriented, but I had to, build up the emotional wherewithal, emotional intelligence and wherewithal to understand that every time somebody comes to me with an issue doesn't mean they want me to solve it for them. They might just want to get it off their chest. And so that took a lot of learning for me, because if I have an issue, I'm immediately like, okay, so what's the plan? Because I'm gonna have a plan for the plan, for the plan, for the plan, for the backup plan. Okay. So on the other side, the flip side of the coin is the feminine energy. And that's where our nurture, our creativity, our intuition, a woman's intuition, they say, is a real thing. It is a real thing. Now, men have it too, but they're usually blocked with these other layers that they're not able to tap into it, right? So compassion, community, and even though I'm an introvert, I have an INTJ personality, introvert, intuition, thinking, and judging personality. If you ever taken the Myers-Briggs personality test, very introverted, very solution oriented, very I'm problem solving, creative problem solving, all that good stuff. But just because I'm an introvert doesn't mean I don't want to have community with other people. It doesn't mean I don't want to be around like-minded people. I thrive off of intellect and learning from other people. So yes, I like community, but that is of feminine energy, right? So you have these balance of energies, and let's talk about what happens how it feels when we lean into the masculine. So our society is predominantly a masculine energy driven society, right? When we think about success and achievements and getting to that next level and moving up and, six figures being the pinnacle of success for us, or C-suite level management, or the big house, or the super amazing car, the dream car, whatever that is for you, whatever, maybe it's not for you, but you've, deemed that as success because that's what you've seen all this time. And we also have to remember that society was built for white people. Let's just be honest. And as a result, most, or I'm going to say many minorities measure their level of success as it compares to a white person's success of near stature. Okay. So not saying that we all do it, but it's definitely a measuring stick. It's definitely something that people, hey, here's the bar. And then how far are we from that? Right. And we think about that, like the wage gap. So we do the same job. So we do the same job as a white male, and there's a large gap. Even if it's a black male, there is a gap. It's maybe smaller than between us and the white male, but there is a gap. And we got equal rights. Cool. We get to vote. We get to work. But is it really equal? As a result, they also didn't meet us in the middle. What instead they did was they said, okay, well, this is what we do as men, and this is what we expect you to do too. Right? So the thing about it is that fair is not always equal. And I know that's a weird concept, but I'll give you this example. Me trying to act as if I'm a man in order to achieve management status, promotions, salary, etc., doesn't exactly work for me. And it's almost a disadvantage for me if I'm operating inauthentically. But we don't really have the luxury of acting authentically, because then we are criticized and penalized for acting like a woman, which is leaning into our feminine energy, right? I did over the years learn how to lean into it where the men don't notice what you're doing, right? You're just leaning into your strengths and then making that work for you. But that takes a lot of practice, and it really is a balancing act. And I noticed it more so because as I became more successful, as I got new certifications and levels of status and more salary and all this stuff, I noticed that I had to be more aggressive. I had to just get to the solution and skip the how does anybody feel. I totally disconnected from nature and intuition because everything was super analytical. And once I really took the leap and quit my corporate gig and became a full-time entrepreneur for a short time, man, oh man, I was in thrive and survive out of masculine energy because it's hustle, 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 get it done, work, put your head down. You got to dig deep. It's the grit. It's all the every day I'm hustling, to get where you need to be. And you think that's what you need to get there because it's the American way, right? It's the way of the world, the Western world. You work hard so you can play a tiny bit on Saturday, right? And you tend to disconnect. And then if you add on top of all that, we're a woman and now we are a Black woman. Oh my God. Now we're working 2.75 on average more than any other person, because now we are having to prove our smarts, our excellence, we have to dispel all these stereotypes that we didn't ask to be placed on us. These labels we didn't ask to be placed on us, right? So we're trying to fight the social constructs that have been created before we ever existed. Now, as a result, we can tend to be out of balance. So we want to talk about balance versus imbalance, balance versus imbalance of the feminine and the feminine and masculine energies, and then how that affects our bodies. Okay. So, you'll see that this represents, the balance and then the body chakras, right? So everybody's heard of chakras before. They're also called energy centers, but most of us have only heard of the 7 main chakras or energy centers, which are located along the spine, as you can see in this figure that I took out of one of the neuroscience books that I studied. This one is called Becoming Supernatural. And it is the 7 main chakras going along the line of the spine, right? Now, the 3 lower chakras are associated with your creativity, with your grounding, with feeling centered, with feeling zen, with feeling peaceful. It's your personal power. And it is what allows you to be #unbothered. And I ain't talking about the kind of unbothered where you be like, I'm unbothered, and then you put up a meme that's like super petty and like totally the opposite of what you're saying. I'm talking about like actually unbothered, like I could give a fuck. Okay, like definitely not posting about it, definitely not putting my energy on it, kind of thing. And so when energy gets stuck in those lower 3 chakras, it can cause an imbalance in your physical, emotional, and your mental well-being, right? It messes up your energy. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how that happens in just a second. But I do want to talk about this 8th center, this 8th energy center that most people we don't talk about. It's more like a portal to consciousness. There are 4 levels of consciousness, which I wish I would have included in this presentation, but that's okay. We'll talk about it really quick. The first is the unconscious. Like you sleep, you are unskilled and unconscious. You don't even know that there's a better way. You are unaware that there's a better way of doing things than what you're doing now. Then you have the skilled, the consciously unskilled, meaning there's a better way. You've somehow got a glimpse of it, but then you don't know how to actually execute it, right? And then there's the 3rd level, which is consciously skilled, meaning that you now are aware there's a better way. You know the tools and tactics to use, and you are now actually trying to apply those methods. You get knocked back a little bit, but then you just dust yourself off and you get back up. And then lastly, there is the oneness connection. It's where you feel really connected to nature. You can quickly kind of like get into that meditative state to like access your conscious portal through your 8th energy center. So that is the pinnacle of enlightenment that I work to be at every day. It's a hit or miss. I mess up a lot of times, but that's okay. You have the opportunity to choose again, right? All right, so let's get into how these energy centers are affected when we are out of balance. So how does energy get stuck? So these are 2 more figures from the neuroscience book that I study out of. It was just like the easiest way for me to show you this. So here we are. Now, as you can see, the lower three chakras are our instinct driven chakras. And so that's like a survival thing, right? This is making sure you have all of your needs met. When you think of the hierarchy of needs, food, water, love, that kind of stuff, right? You want to make sure that you feel safe, you feel supported, and you feel loved. And those three chakras, they govern that. And so if you are having feelings of sexual depravity, sexual addiction, sexual anxiety, sexual confusion and pain, or trauma from molestation, a lot of times that is going to be your root chakra, and that is going to be where you are holding your blockage, right? And then you have the sacral chakra, which I think I always say wrong, but that chakra governs the guilt, the shame, the pain, the unworthiness, the lack, the victimization. Anytime you're in that place, that is where that energy is blocked. And that chakra is located roughly an inch or two below your belly button, while the root chakra, if you think about squeezing your butt or squeezing your pee muscles, right? Like that, if you're doing your Kegels, that is your perineum. That is the root chakra. And then up one, if you were to tighten your lower abdomen, that will give you the location of the sacral chakra. And then the solar plexus chakra, which is right in the abdomen. It's like that gut feeling you get when you know something ain't right. That's your competition, your control, your impatience. That's your ego. And that bitch is messy. And that is your self-aggrandizement, right? Aggrandizement, or your grandiosity, right? I don't want to say that wrong. The grandiosity of it all, right? It's our specialness. Is what makes us feel like we're better than them, or they're better than us, or whatever. Now, the issue is that when we are stuck in this way, this energy, it sucks all of our energy and all of our frequency into those three, because it's needy. We're in survival mode, right? We're not feeling safe. Normally, if you look to the figure 4-5 on the right, you'll see that normally you have this wonderful halo of beautiful energy, okay? And these are the vibes that we're giving off, right? When people like, the vibes, or high vibes only, good vibes only, that's a real thing. That didn't come from osmosis, right? That is a real thing. Good vibes means high frequency, which means good emotions, right? The lower the frequency, the worse the emotions feel, right? And then when you look to the left, the diminished light field, when you're in survival mode in those first three chakras, you are literally drawing the energy out of the room. Have you ever heard the term, that bitch sucks the energy out of the room? That's her, okay? Sucks the energy out of the room, and like it is literally fighting to survive. And this is actually one of the reasons why I have foundational courses that my one-on-one clients must do first before I can work with them, just because this is something that takes a lot of work and you have to be like totally committed. So if you don't do it with the foundational course, like on your own or in a group setting with groups that I lead, then I don't have your full commitment, right? And I'm not gonna have y'all dragging me on Beyonce's internet trying to cancel me on Black Twitter because you didn't get results when you didn't do the work, baby. Okay. So let's talk about the frequencies and the magnetic fields in the body. So I just showed you the chakras, and I showed you that light ring, that halo, my halo around you, right? So every cell in your body vibrates at a specific frequency, like a guitar string vibrates at a certain frequency to produce sound, or like, have you all ever seen those sound bowls, right? And like the Tibetans use it and stuff like that. That is a real thing. That frequency hits your body and it causes you to feel a certain way. So each of those chakras has a different frequency. Your heart chakra has a different frequency from your sacral chakra, and your throat frequency is different than your heart frequency, right? So when your cells vibrate, they send out signals in the form of electrical impulses. Like, that's right, your body's in an electrical field, magnetic field, and it travels through the nervous system to the brain. That those signals tells your brain what it needs, and then your brain tells the body what to do in order to get what it needs, correct? So if you are in lack and those three chakras are all blocked up, what is going to happen is it's going to send signals to the brain saying, hey, we need help. We are needy. We need everything. We need all of the energy in order to survive. Now, if all of your energy is trying to help you survive, guess what it can't do? It can't help you be loving or compassionate or nurturing. You're literally clawing your way out of survival, right? So when you're blocked by your trauma, your shame, your guilt, you're decreasing the frequency in your body that your body puts out, and therefore you are shrinking your electromagnetic field. The shorter and smaller that field gets, the less you can put into the universe. The vibes ain't there. The vibes ain't vibing, baby. And so you're not going to have what we love about that law of attraction, okay? You're going to attract, all right, but it ain't going to be the good shit you want. It's not going to be what you want, girl. Now, people talk about being in the vortex. Red car center is my thing, right? Red car centered means that you are in a place of happiness and just, we are motherfucking jolly. We are attracting what we actually want because we are in a mode of what we actually want, right? But every day ain't gonna be perfect. And you gonna mess up like 472 times a day. I'm like, this motherfucker. You know what I mean? And I got to pull myself back in. I got to rein myself back in. So, but it's being aware. It's being aware of yourself in order to rein yourself back in, right? And that's something that I actually teach in my signature program is how to remove your brain from your body, move your conscious from your body so that you are aware when you are having these moments and being dragged back into the depths of survival hell, okay? When you can get out of there. Just real quick, this is like a perfect time for me to share my God story. So how did I get here? Essentially, I have to have meaning behind things, right? So when I learned about law of attraction, when I learned about the how to have abundance, how to be in the vortex, how to have positive thinking, how to grow, how to stay in that wonderful electromagnetic field of just combusting with wonderfulness, I didn't understand the meaning behind like why we were doing stuff. And for me, because that is all spirituality, I felt the same as far as like when we talk about the beliefs that we have in our different religions. Now, granted, religion is all the same as far as what the ultimate goal is, which is to be whole, be good, a good human, be compassionate, pay it forward, and literally just try not to be shitty. Okay. Now, the cool thing is that, so a million years ago, when I was 11, I was introduced to the Big Bang Theory and the dinosaurs and all that shit in science. And I was trying to understand, how does that line up with what I was taught in church? Like, how does that line up with God and the ark and the people and the things and Adam being booted out and all that shit, which he wasn't actually booted out. We'll talk about that at a different time. And so when I went to ask about it, I was very much encouraged to, you don't be asking no questions about God. You just have faith of that mustard seed and wear that greasy ass cross on your forehead and keep it pushing. And so it did a few things for me. The first thing it did was it made me not respect authority without having meaning. Like, I can't take orders from somebody who can't explain something to me. And I know it was an innocent thing. It was my father being defensive because how can he explain it when he's just had this faith his whole life? I totally get it, right? Secondly, it made me curious to want to explore other avenues and other religions and see what other people were doing and how science played into all of that. But thirdly, it really damaged my throat chakra. And so as a result, like going through corporate and trying to, move up and in relationships and all kinds of things, it really had me hesitate when I would speak up for myself, when I needed to say that I needed something and all that good stuff, right? So guess what was happening? Even though, yes, I was born like a super attractor. All of us are until we, get masks and layers of shame and stuff that stops us from doing it. But at that moment, like I was still manifesting, but I was doing a little bit of strong arming and stuff, but my throat chakra was really blocked. Lucky for me, it's not the bottom three, so I'm not like totally pulling in energy, but it absolutely blocked me from some blessings that I absolutely should have had, or some challenges that I totally could have avoided. But what I realized is that, hey, you know what? God, he wants us to be good, to be loved, to be supported, to feel safe. And he meets us in all kinds of ways. He meets us where we are. And that's where these different modalities come in, right? So that the spirituality, the science, the therapist, the super dope ass spiritual coaches like me, counseling, and all these other things that help us get to Red Car Center, get us to a place of love. Because once we are fully filled up and we're not in survival mode anymore, we're in overflow, and we are now emitting compassion and love and nurturing to other people and other places. And we don't have that sense of like having to hold on to every little morsel, right? And so as a result, one of the things that I do is I have to start my day grounded and clear. And I'm going to talk about that further into this training, but I have to get my mind clear before I go forward, because how else am I going to deal with the shitty humans of the world and be compassionate to people who are not so compassionate to me, right? So let's continue on here. Now, we tend to, so we talked about those chemicals, right? Those electric pulses and those chemical signals that are sent to the brain, sent to the body, sent to the brain, sent to the body, right? Well, in order for us to change and to kind of tap into the feminine and kind of pull from the masculine, to have a different way of thinking, to approach things differently in a way out of love and out of compassion, we have to rewire the brain. The brain has to be changed. The brain has to write us a new story. We got to flex those brainiac muscles, right? And so I have a 3-pillar framework. Well, actually, it's a 7 steps and a 3 pillars that creates this framework. I call it a cosmic cocktail of miracles, and it is created or concocted of spirituality, neuro in parentheses, science, right? So spirituality, science, and miracles, which translates to gratitude as it relates to the metaphysical text, A Course in Miracles. And so what I call Black Girl Gratitude or Black Girl Magic, Black Girl Miracles, all is simply gratitude. I just have to brands everything. Hello. And also, we're definitely grateful for stuff differently than the rest of the world, okay? Because we need to know who all over there and did y'all fry the chicken hard, right? Like, it's very, we got different concerns. So let's get into it. I don't, again, for this training, I obviously don't have time to break down every little step because it is actually a lot of content, and we do it step by step. So what I want you to leave with today are small but actionable steps that make big changes in your life and quickly, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it, baby cakes. So firstly, mindset and spirituality, right? So obviously, spirituality, the overarching concept here. Mindset is how we're going to start rewiring our brain. And we start that with being grounded, like I was just discussing. Oh, okay. It looks the same. It's not. So it is a set of spiritually aligned beliefs that influence your reactions and your behavior. So your mindset is your frame of mind that helps you move toward a set of outcomes. Now, the thing is, we tend to do the same things every day because we do the same things every day. So your brain runs off of a subconscious hardwired program or software, I should say. It's kind of like the BIOS of your computer, which is like the first layer of your operating system, to put it in layman's terms. And because you do the same thing every day, you get out of your bed, you go shower, you put your coffee on, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, you go to the car, you take the same route to work, you stop at the same Starbucks, you have the same thoughts about Worse Than Ass Mary, and you go through the playlist of all the meanings you got to send in that could have been an email, right? And so your brain does this on auto without you having to do anything, okay? In order for your brain to be different, in order for you to do different, you have to change your brain. You have to disrupt that subconscious software, all right? And there's ways to do that. And it's more than just muscle. It's more than just willpower, okay? But the first thing that you can do is by starting to be grounded. Take 5 minutes of your day before you get going and just sit there for 5 minutes and repeat the prayer, I am safe, I am loved, I am supported, I am blessed. Now that's actually one of my miracle mantras. It's one of my anxiety prayers. But if you sit there for 5 minutes and you say that repeatedly to yourself and just kind of get your shit together, it sets you up for a really good day. And it's only 5 minutes. It's just 5 minutes. Even if you just sit with your thoughts and say, none of these thoughts really mean anything. I'm just going to clear my mind. You can literally say, that thought about that stupid ass meeting doesn't mean anything. That thought about my boss doesn't mean anything. This thought about all the things I have to do don't mean anything. I am safe. I am loved. And you just say that, right? And it just kind of grounds you. Now, also, you could journal in the mornings. I do something called morning pages where I write 3 full-blown pages every morning and get all my thoughts out so that I can, and I'm going to show you actually what it looks like. So this big ass journal here, if you can see it in the little window here, I fill up 3 pages of this every morning, and it just gets all of my thoughts out so I can get clear and get focused. And it allows me to have the capacity to like be nice to other people. Sometimes it's really hard. And then secondly, we have boundaries. Now, boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are not ways to eliminate people out of your life. Boundaries are actually created to keep people you love in your life, okay? It sets up a framework for you to be able to have people know how to treat you if they want to be in your life, and vice versa. Also, how to treat yourself, right? So it's an invisible line that defines what behaviors are acceptable for an individual and teach people how to treat you and how to care for, and you have to care for yourself, because you also have to respect your boundaries, okay? This requires you to know what your triggers are, what makes you anxious, what makes you mad, what frustrates you. It allows you to protect yourself, but it also causes you to have to put in some self-care, right? You're going to have to actually do some self-care. You're going to have to take the time to check in with yourself and really understand what your values are, what your values are, as well as what matters to you and what kind of gets you going. Like, I feel like a lot of us don't know who we are for real. We're so busy accomplishing shit and ticking off check marks. If you're like me, you love a spreadsheet, baby, and a checklist, baby. Like, I look, all the apps in the world I got, and I still write down stuff so I can cross it out. It's something so satisfying about crossing out a task, okay? But we do all these things, and we're knocking off tasks, and we're okay. We did that. We did this, showing up for people, and yet we don't even know who we are as a full person. You might have started out knowing who you are, but baby, it's been 10 years. It's been 5 years. It's been 6 months. I am not the same person I was yesterday. So I surely am not the same person that I was 10 years ago. And you aren't either. So take that time. Figure out what your non-negotiables are. I have a 3-hour block in the morning that I am not checking texts. I'm not checking no emails. Don't call me. Leave me alone. That is my 3 hours to myself to get myself together. Okay. That is for me. And then once I have filled my cup up, now I can come and be pleasant to the world and be helpful and be inspiring and be action aligned. You know what I mean? So again, boundaries. You got to start thinking about that. Who are the people who are constantly triggering you? Figure out how you can set some boundaries in place that allow you to say what you need. And if you totally need to remove them, then do so. And also, I am working on some scripts, like some little notes that you can just save in your phone when, and usually this is best for texting, obviously, but you could say it if you're on the phone or something, or if you got to read it right in front of their face, who gives a shit? But I have a script that if people aren't honoring your boundaries, what you can say to them, and also how you can initially set your boundaries. So if that's something that you would like, definitely comment in the replies or whatever, wherever you're watching this, and let me know, because I will absolutely include you on the list when I send that out. I'm working on that now. And honestly, depending on when you're watching this, it's already there and probably included with this training. So yeah. Now let's talk about self-soothing. Ooh, self-soothing. Ooh, some of us got some bad ones. I had some bad ones. Ooh, baby. I have some good ones now though. So hello to doing the work. Okay. Self-soothing. This happens when we are triggered and we need to get ourselves back to baseline. We need to get ourselves back to Zen, back to Red Car Center, back to zero. All right. So let's talk about some self-soothing. So a lot of times when we need to be self-soothing and we're doing it in an unhealthy manner, it turns into, well, let's talk about what it is first. It's any behavior an individual uses to regulate their emotional state by themselves. All right. Now, it can be learned early on in childhood. That's usually when it's learned, actually, but it can be changed. Just like anything else, we can rewire our brains and it can be changed. All right. It just takes a little work and a little know-how, and you put those together, you got this shit. Okay. So here, when you're doing it all wrong, and we're talking about judgment, projection, addictions, and listen, you know what I find funny? When we talk about addictions, the only thing people can talk about is alcohol and crack. You know how many addictions it is? It is sex addiction, food addiction, attention addiction, people addiction, work addiction. Like, it is a lot of fucking addictions, okay? So anything that you're super obsessed about, addiction. Unhealthy behaviors, attachment to negative a negative attention or a validation seeking. Okay. I know we all have one of those on our timeline. All right. And I just pray for them like, poor baby, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right, poor baby. It's okay. I got you, girl. You know, and just hoping that they're going to be better. And then we have some good self-soothing, right? We have anxiety techniques. I'm going to teach you one right now. Okay. Y'all ready? All right. Sit there for just a second. Quiet for a second. Be still for a second. And relax your tongue. And you'll notice, take a deep breath after you do it. And relax your tongue again. And you'll notice that instantly you'll feel calm. Your breathing will slow down. Your jaw will be unclenched. And your shoulders will relax. That is one of my immediate go-tos when I am stressed, anxious, weird, want to slap a bitch. Like, that is it right there. Relax your tongue. And then there's also other techniques like EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, or IFS, which is the internal family system, where we use personas in order to talk ourselves off the ledge. That's something that I teach in my in the French 47 collective. I teach both EFT and IFS, and I actually have some trainings on EFT. It's a really short mini course on it available in the replay vault, I believe. If not, I will send out an email with a link to it for everyone. And then also there is journaling, which helps me so much. Oh my God. Honestly, if I do my morning pages in the morning, I don't even, I mean, it's like I get it all out, you know. Meditation, meditation seems hard because it's like, you got all these things to do and now you're going to tell me sit here and be quiet. Like I ain't got shit to do. But if you can just start with 5 minutes, like I talked about in the last module, 5 minutes really is enough to get you going. But I actually have some guided meditations and things like that that you can use. Guided meditation is one that will help you really get there. There are different kinds. There's super quiet. There's contemplation. There's guided. If you're new, guided is great. It also helps you set intentions and objectives. And next, as you can see, is contemplation. And then good music. So on Sundays, I have a dance party where I put on, and right now Beyonce has got me in a chokehold, y'all, for real. Like, she probably gonna have me in a chokehold for the next 3 years, like she always has anyways. So really, this will still be relevant no matter what time you see this training. But I put that on and I have on my best silky robe and I am dancing all around the house, singing in my best kink sang voice so loud. And it is amazing. I get in front of the mirror and I just like let it fucking rip. And it's like really a good time to connect with my body, to just really appreciate my body and what it's been through and where it's gotten me and where I'm at. And just the vibe, the frequency of the music makes me feel good. And it's also a place that I can tap into whenever I'm feeling like away and I want to like tap into some red car center. I can just think about that Sunday when I was dancing around having the best time of my life. You know what I mean? Talking about church girl, you know what I'm saying? Shaking them big old bitties. You feel me? Ayy. So, also, if you need to reach out to your therapist, do so. That's what she's there for. You know, if you're one of my one-on-one clients or in my group program, you need to be in a private group. Say you need help. Ask for what you need. We get so stuck on trying because of what we've accomplished in our lives. We have gotten used to not being vulnerable and to doing everything on our own. Reach out. Say you need some help. We got you, girl. We need to have a support system of people that are there to help you with different things. Everybody can't help you with all your needs, but everybody can help you with something if they are an important part of your life. And for me, one of my favorites is coloring. I love to color. Oh my God, I love to color. And I ain't even talking about those adult coloring. I'm talking about straight up big ass Disney cartoon crayon coloring. I love it. I get lost in it. But if you're a reader, I'm also a bookworm. So if you're a reader, your favorite podcast. And another thing that I really like to do is take a walk. And if I don't feel like actively moving my body, what I do is I pair it. I call it bundling, like fun bundling. And so like if it's a podcast I've been wanting to listen to, or if I want to catch up on Real Housewives or something, I will put that on. And as an incentive to walk, I'll put that on while I'm doing my walk. You know, so that's just like a little trick that I use in order to do what I'm supposed to do. And then lastly is the reinvention of self. This is super important because you're going to be somebody new. Again, I'm not the person I was yesterday. I'm not the person I was 5 years ago or or 5 months ago or 5 minutes ago, right? And so you're going to need to reinvent yourself. And so I know if a lot of people feel like this is not necessary, like what does that have to do with anything? What does how I look have to do with anything? But I'm a big believer when you look good, you feel good, baby. When you get that fresh haircut, well, for me, haircut, when y'all get that fresh hairdo, that fresh set of nails, you just got wax. You can't nobody even see your wax, girl, but you be walking a whole new motherfucking stride. You know what I mean? You just be like, hey, right? And it is what it is. Like, you have reinvented yourself. You feel like a new person. You get them eyebrows done, you feel human again. Like, oh, yes, okay, no more werewolf, baby. We here. And all of that is a part of looking good and feeling good, right? So then that would mean that everything else is of equal importance. But reinvention doesn't only refer to your outside appearance. It's a lot of things. So let's get into it. So it's the package that you present to the world. It's how you treat yourself, and it is how it is presented that speaks to the room before you ever open your mouth. If you've ever heard some lame ass guy be like, ooh, I would fuck with you, but I can't even treat you like how you be, because I know I want to take you out, but I know I can't even afford what you be doing. If he say anything like that, it is all because of how you carry yourself. Because the image you put out in the world is that you expect top tier motherfucking excellence, right? And you should, right? And even though he may have a misconception that, because maybe you don't, because I don't eat everything Michelin 3-star, you know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me? But I'm going to treat myself to a wonderful experience. It's all about the experience for me in my life, in my home, how I interact with people, how I learn, what I do for work. Everything is about an experience. And if I am not satisfied in that experience, it's time for me to find something else, right? So when you think of the reinvention of yourself, you need to think about, like, what does she look like? What does she act like? What kind of person is she? What actions would she take? What would she do? What kind of environments would she be in? Who would she be around? What does her social circle look like? What kind of vacations would she take? Would she even take vacations? Would that be a thing? Like, set expectations, do all of that. You have personal branding, whether you know it or not. Every single person has personal branding. If you have a Facebook account, you have personal branding. What you put on that timeline, what you post every day, is a part of your personal branding. If you're always complaining, guess what your personal brand is? A complaining ass bitch. If you're always talking about how you dress and what you're eating, guess what your personal branding is? A real cute foodie, right? So you have to look good to feel good. Become the vision that you are seeking out, okay? So I wish that I could see the rest of my slide. Oh my gosh. But think about your experiences and your adventures. All of that matters. Where do you go? What are your adventures like? Who goes with you? All of this is very important, because once you are embodying this, you ooze it out, right? Again, you're rewiring your brain. You're retelling your story. And as you build this new personality, that's essentially what you're doing. As you create this new personality of this much improved person, this 2.0 version of yourself, or 3.0, shit, I might be up to 11.6. I'm like a Apple iOS up in this jank. But whatever number you're on, as you reboot and upgrade, right, you are upgrading your features and your benefits, okay? Like, once you get to your true self, now you're at factory settings. This is the way that you were manufactured. This is the way God put you on this earth. And now it's up to you to upgrade your benefits and your feature package, okay? And I talk about this in the French 47 Collective as well, but knowing your neonatal chart, knowing your Myers-Briggs personality, knowing your Clifton strength, like, which is your management style, like Gallup management style and stuff, knowing these things about yourself is very, very important, because when you know who you are as your true self and you understand how you work with others, you understand your perception of what you see, because that's really all this is, right? All this shit is just a perception of your experiences, your traumas, your happenings of life, right? And when you can see that, you have now the roadmap, the blueprint, the fucking treasure map to create something that is exceptional. You were exceptional when you got here, but then you were wounded. So now that you understand how you work, now you can make the tweaks, right? You can make the tweaks. God has allowed you to partner with him to co-create and curate the most amazing life you could ever imagine. And once you set up that destination, right? And again, a roundabout way, because we don't know exactly where we're going to come out, but we can control the journey along the way. Like, we know where we're going. Like, we've got the map. we've got our missile on it and we're heading that direction. Now we might get some pivots and some roadblocks and stuff, but that's okay, because as long as you are in celebrations mode, right? Somebody get the champagne. Hello. Get the champagne. As long as you're in celebration mode, then you are able to enjoy the journey along the way. And that means when you do have to pivot, when you do lose the job, when you do not conceive like you thought you were going to, when the business has to take a different turn, when you were pushed back for your degree, whatever it is, you now understand that it was because it was rerouting you to your true destiny, your true destination. Okay. So celebrating and experiencing life in the moment, encouraging gratitude, and increases the abundance. The most magical emotion you can have is the celebration of gratitude, as though it already happened for you. Because if there's any one thing I would tell you to do to be in Red Car Center, to stay in the vortex, to just enjoy the ride, it would be to have gratitude for what you, as though it has already happened to you. Remind yourself that you did a great job. Encourage yourself. Talk to yourself the same way you would talk to your 10-year-old niece, the same way you would talk if it was your child, the same way you would talk to your bestie. Hold that same space for yourself. Validate yourself. Baby, you did a good job. All right. And that's on Mary Had the Whole Lamb. All right. That is for you to, celebrate your wins. Journal if you need to. Write it on sticky notes. In my bedroom, my whole bedroom is covered in sticky notes of like notes of affirmation and little prayers to myself and all kinds of little quips and things I saw that inspired me. And I stay inspired because I wake up looking at that. I go to sleep looking at that. And when I am feeling uninspired, I go in there and I read all these things to myself. You need to have compassion for yourself, and you need to go on adventures. Adventures increase experiences, which increases gratitude. The longer that you're here on this earth, the more you get to experience. And what a wonderful fucking thing that is. Ain't God good all the time? Okay. Now, so let's get into it. So, I have been working very, very hard and tirelessly on this program, on this collective. And I just want to see you win. I want us all to win. I want us all to be amazing. I want to meet everybody on a yacht in the middle of like some blue water and just really have a whole motherfucking party, like a whole shindig. Like it's going to be amazing, right? And so my hope to do that is this. It's, the French Collective 47 or the French 47 Collective. I am running a beta experience right now. This is the beta version, okay, which means that all you have to do is apply. It is at no cost to you. The only cost it is for you, which is still valuable cost, right, is your commitment to it, which is your time, right, your commitment to actually do the work, and then feedback on the course, because I want to make sure that it is done for completeness and for comprehension, right? I want to make sure it's very comprehensive. I want to make sure its execution is done seamlessly and that you can take action and you get big results. And so my gift to you is for you to join me for free to take this course. Just like I said, you commit your time and your feedback, and then that is my gift from you, is your feedback, because I want to make sure this is the best program it can possibly be for all of the people who come behind you. Y'all gonna run, y'all gonna walk so that the next students can run. Hello. Okay. All right. Now, I imagine if you're here, you're already on the email list. I send out stories that dig deeper with me as I share stories about my experiences in my life, and I help you design a guilt-free life. Make sure that you introduce yourself in the group if you have not already. We are so excited to have you, baby. And then if you just want to get started, you can always check out the replay vault, which should be included in your welcome email. Also, it will be in the pinned post in the group. Okay. That is all for today's training. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. And, I wish you all the love and light. I love you, sis. And I'll see you next time. Ashton Rays out.